welcome to Recovery Report Live. I'm Odess, President of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery, and we have managed more than $1 billion in that recovery. We got a special show for you today. I'm joined by my very own colleague, Matt Sengsourinh, to talk about important issues, important things that you need to be considering as a community association or business owner in preparing for this storm season. Last week we had on a representative from one of the nation's largest mitigation contractors, as well as our very own Rob Bowlby, to talk about those important issues. But without further ado, I want to bring on Matt to talk about these issues. So welcome aboard, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So it's always special to be joined by one of our very own to talk about important issues, to demonstrate a little bit about our knowledge and our experience, and to help all of you folks, whether you're a business owner or community association, plan for the inevitable. A lot of storms out there, a lot of things you should consider while you're preparing. So Matt, why don't you take us through kind of the highlights for a business owner, the top 5 things a business owner should consider when preparing for this storm season?
Absolutely. The first and foremost, you want to make sure that you have a place to secure your very important documents, okay? Whether that's in the cloud or a thumb drive or wherever, make sure you have a place offsite to secure everything that you need should you have damage or loss from a storm or a catastrophic event. Among those important documents, you should always have electronic copies of all of your policies, of course. And most importantly, we reiterate this everywhere we go, every time we're on TV. We want to make sure that you guys request a certified copy of your policy, a certified copy. You get one every year per Florida statute. You should request one every single year. Make sure you're keeping 3 and 5 years of taxes and P&Ls. Secure those. Make sure they're all together with everything else you have there. And you want to get photographs. Photographs are very, very important, right? Before and after. We always recommend take inside, take outside. If you need to get some drone shots, some footage of the roof and things like that, make sure you do that at least once a year, if not every other year, at minimum. You want to keep your emergency contact information for service providers like GlobalPro, water mitigation companies, whomever you might need should this catastrophic event occur. And you want to make sure you have all your contact information, emergency contact information, for all of your employees, whether it's a business or an association. You want to know where everybody is, if they need help, and how they can get to the property or wherever to help make sure that everything's mitigated. There's a bonus item I want to leave you with, which is to make sure that you have your contingency plan should your operation shut down. Make sure you know exactly who you're going to call, where all your documents are, and how to use them and where to go if need be. An example would be in your plan is if you're shut down, then everybody else is probably getting shut down, which means, as an example, if there's a construction site next door, what are they going to do? How are they going to move materials? How are they going to move cranes? There's all these things that need to be put in there just so you understand, or whomever's reading it can really get through it and make sure that everyone's taken care of.
No, it's amazing how a lot of our business owners don't consider on what's going on around them, and they're just really focused on that business that right in front of them. They're not thinking about how that job site may impact them, whether it's materials coming off, shutting down roads, if they lose access, ingress, egress, another really important coverage to make sure that you have and understand how that may apply in a situation where there's roadblocks, whether they're by federal government, sometimes we even see that, or local state authorities that are blocking off certain areas, and it may be because of a catastrophic loss right nearby, and your business is shut down, and how you're going to contact your employees, all the great things that you talked about. Certified copy of the policy, definitely a hot button issue. We talk about it so often particularly when we're teaching classes at community associations, which brings me to the top five things a community association should be considering. Now, a lot of them are similar to what business owners are doing, granted, because it's insurance, and a lot of the policies sold to business owners are the same forms that are used in the policies that are sold to community associations. They're commercial policies. So you do see a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of other things, because obviously the construct of a community association is very different than a business. So just right off the top, one of the things I'm thinking about is, do you have all the contact information for all, and I mean all of your unit owners, as well as their tenants? I can't tell you how many community associations have the information for the tenant because they're on site, but don't know the information for the unit owner, and vice versa. They have all the information for the unit owners because they have to register to vote, et cetera, but they don't have the actual contact information for the actual tenant. Making sure, obviously, that's updated information. It's a good practice every single year to make sure that you have updated contact information for your unit owners as well as your tenants. Because again, sometimes people move, sometimes people change. Maybe you got a new cell phone plan, it came with a new number, and you don't share that information with a property management company, could be an issue. Also, now you can get a hold of them. Can you get into the units if you need to?
Right.
Access to all of the units. I can't tell you how badly that impacts your claims process and how much it can slow down things when you can't get simple access to people's units. And I say access to all of your unit owners and tenants' units because a lot of times if there's an evacuation order, none of them are around. So you need to be able to make sure that you get in there, make sure you have keys, make sure you have electronic access, whatever it is, make sure you have access, because if there's something catastrophic happen inside of a unit, like say the railing is falling off or the windows are blown in, you need to be able to go in there as a community association and mitigate damages, stop it from getting worse, board up, remove the falling balcony, whatever it may be, make sure you take care of that. Similar to what Matt made a comment about earlier, taking photographs of obviously the inside and out of the businesses. Let's make it a little bit more specific for community associations to talk about inside units as well as common areas. Making sure that you can get into a number of your units. Now, it may be an exhausting task to take pictures of every single unit, but if you can get into some units and take pictures of the balcony areas or in and around the window and door openings, it can be helpful to your claim if you're permitted access to do that, and that's something your association wants to engage in. These aren't pictures for social media or to sell units or to rent units. These are pictures for potential claims, so think about it differently. Pictures around window opening, door openings, as well as the mechanical chases, things like that. Places where water has a way of finding its way into your building through a wind-created opening, causing damage to your building. That's where you want to take those photographs. Videos, I say it's okay, it's good, but it's sometimes hard to sort through videos. Documenting where you are at in a video and having to go through in the video and watching it is a little bit difficult. Video from a drone is different. Video, if you're walking through a building, it may be a little bit too much. The files are going to be huge and heavy, and they're going to be very difficult to sort through. So I recommend just taking photographs in and around.
No commentary on the video. Don't say anything. There's nothing that you can say that's going to help you. So just don't say anything.
Yeah. It's a very good point, Matt. It's not, again, not for social media. You're not being interviewed for anything. You're just simply taking a video documentary of it. I don't think there's any reason that you don't need to narrate. You should take pictures of obviously the unit you're going into, but then as you're in the unit, obviously it's very easy to tell which room you're in. I mean, the kitchen has a sink, right? As well as your dishwasher and your oven and things like that. Usually it's pretty easy to tell where you are within a unit. Again, you're really just documenting the condition of the property prior to that storm event. Enough of that. Moving on. Number 4, negotiate services with vendors up front. Something a lot of community associations miss. Even if your community association management company has a lot of these vendors at their beck and call, maybe they even own some of these vendors, it's, again, don't, as a board member, don't simply just assume that your property manager has gone out and done it just because the management company owns a mitigation company or owns some other service company that's going to help you in this situation. Go out and interview others, negotiate these fees and costs, consider their contracts, understand the promise, not the commitment, very different. Promise rather than commitment to be there within a few hours or 24, 72 hours, whatever it may be after a major event. It's a promise, it's not going to be a commitment. Most of them, if they make the commitment, they're lying to you already. Probably not a good way to start off a relationship. Their resources will be tapped, and they will not be able to get to everyone that they want to be able to get to. Simply because logistically it's almost impossible because roads get blocked off, access is limited, their amount of fans they have is limited, the amount of manpower. Remember, their own people, their own employees may evacuate and disappear on them in the midst of a major storm. So consider those situations. The other thing is know who's actually leaving. All right. I just mentioned and commented on what the mitigation company employees are doing, but your own employees may do the same thing, may disappear on you. Have a commitment up front from your own employees as to who's staying and who's going. Have a commitment among board members, who's staying and who's going. Maybe all of you are going. Whatever it may be, make sure that it's documented in writing and that there's a clear understanding of who's doing what, and run through it. Go through a practice, okay? Make sure that you practice. Act as if we all remember when we were in elementary school doing fire drills, okay? I have kids, they're doing it now. Do a fire drill. Do a hurricane preparedness drill, if you will, and do a dry run. How long does it actually take to get the furniture off the pool deck and put away.
That's a big one, yeah.
It's huge, right? So it may take 4 hours when you only estimated 2 hours. Well, that's 2 more hours that you got to find for somewhere else that they were supposed to be doing something else. And maybe it runs into their overtime and you have strict overtime requirements, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I'm getting in the weeds here. I want to stick to our top 5. That rounded out 5, but like Matt, I'm taking your lead on this one. I'm throwing in a 6th one. Policies are complicated. All right? Your broker in the insurance company will not visit your property. Remember that. Remember that I said that. Remember that we are telling you this and we're repeatedly telling you this, that your insurance company and your broker do not work for you and adjust claims, okay? First off, your insurance company's representatives are typically what they're called independent adjusters, okay? Independent adjusters represent only the interest of insurance companies. Your broker is not an adjuster. They have no obligation to come out to your property after a major loss and to do much of anything for you. They sold you a product. They're not there to adjust the claim. So understand that, consider it, and remember it. Put that back in the back of your mind. So when you're expecting your agent or broker to show up at your property after, let's say, half your windows have been blown out, and they're not, don't be surprised. Remember I said it here. Remember that you need to make sure that you're protecting your own interests, and the insurance company's adjusters are not going to do that. In fact, there was a recent class action lawsuit, okay? And the recent class action lawsuit shows that the numbers used, the actual dollars and cents that are used to ascertain the amount of damages used in one of the most widely accepted and used software systems that's on the market today is largely influenced by independent adjusters and company adjusters working for insurance companies. These estimating softwares are considering more of the opinions of adjusters in the field that work for insurance companies than anyone representing the interests of policyholders and the actual costs on the street, contractors, suppliers of building materials, et cetera, et cetera. Over 60%, in fact, it was found of the unit pricing, 60% of the numbers that are being used are influenced by insurance company representatives in determining the amount of your damages. I mean, the dissatisfaction amongst consumers at an all-time high. We've repeatedly talked about this, Matt. I mean, you and I talk about it constantly, how unbelievably dissatisfied not only our clients are with the insurance companies and why they're calling us more today than ever before, and why it's so important for you as a policyholder to have a representative representing your interests, because even something like this, in a class action lawsuit, they have exposed an issue in the estimating software used largely by industry experts, on both sides. Something that's more wide. In fact, I've had insurance companies actually tell me they won't accept an estimate that's not written using this software platform. And now it's come out in a class action lawsuit where it's demonstrating that, well, there's a reason why they want you to use it, right? Because if they can control the price of what they're paying you, and they've jacked up your insurance rates, and again, we've talked on many episodes, and Matt and I talk on a daily basis about this, about how bad the cards are stacked against you as a consumer when you go out the market to try to buy something right now. And again, dissatisfaction at an all-time high, prices at an all-time high, coverage at an all-time low, and it's coming out that your insurance company has been loading the deck against you when estimating the value of your damages, and that they're intentionally using, and that's what they found here, is that they're intentionally using the wrong data sets to estimate your damages, the value of them.
They're probably not using the wrong data sets to appraise your property, though. So while we're in this inflationary period right now, and everybody's unit and everybody's building and everybody's asset is appreciating, when you have loss or damage, unfortunately, the insurance company, your carriers, are not using those same numbers to provide you a valuation of your damages, unfortunately. So it doesn't seem like it's fair, and certainly not in good faith, in my opinion.
So it's an important thing we wanted to highlight about this class action lawsuit, and I thought it really fit well within preparing, because how are you going to value your damages, and who are you going to rely on to do that? Again, when resources are stretched, contractors aren't showing up on time, they don't have enough labor material. The insurance company, I can tell you right now, claims are going to take longer. In fact, they've lobbied for more time to adjust claims throughout the country. They're not accepting technology. They're not investing in technology at the rate in which many insurtech companies had wished, had hoped. a lot of venture capitalist money went into these companies, and it's unfortunately falling flat. You saw, I said a couple months ago, major layoffs from these insurtech companies. They're just not, they're not biting on it, right? They're not biting on it because it really kind of doesn't play into their business model, let's be honest. So, happy National Preparedness Month. If there's any reason to be happy about it, it's just the kickoff of it. We want to make sure that you have this important information. We're not beating around the bush here. We want to talk right at these issues. We don't want to scare you, but we want to make sure that you're informed. So it's just really good information. We pack a lot into these short segments. Right? I mean, this is what this is about, is making sure that we're continuously providing you information you can use. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here, right?
Absolutely. So make sure National Preparedness Month, you plan, you prepare, and you protect. That's the goal. So just a reminder, it's only once a year, but it should be every month in our opinion. Remember, you can get more information if you check our website at globalpro.com. You can reach out to our team 24/7, 365. Our insurance coverage expert here, one of our insurance coverage expert here, will be able to help you out no matter what. And we always say, call us first. You won't regret it. We'll make sure that we've helped manage your risk to recovery. And we want to make sure that you're also getting the information you need on a regular basis. So subscribe to us, like us, follow us on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn and YouTube. And make sure that this isn't just a once a year thing. You need to prepare, plan, and protect. Or plan, prepare, and protect, I should say. That's the right order.
And then Ready, Recover, Rebuild. We're celebrating 10 years. I'm so happy you could join me today, Matt. I think this is a great, important episode. I think this is one of those episodes we can play back a few times.
This is our first episode. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah,
Is
that what it is?
It is our first episode together.
So we're recreating it here. We're doing a fine moment in our 10 years. We're celebrating 10 years. All of this year. This is a big milestone for us here at GlobalPro. Again, I think this is the episode that gets played back, gets cut up and reproduced throughout our social media, that gets distributed to all of our clients and everyone out there. I think there's some really great information that we've been able to pack into this short show here. And as Matt mentioned, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on all our social media. It's really important that you get the information you can use. And join us every single week, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Recovery Report Live. We'll see you the same place, same time, right here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Matt, again. We'll see you guys next week. Take care and prepare, protect, and what was the other one?
Well, it's plan, prepare, and protect.
Plan, prepare, protect. I love it. In closing, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week, right here, same place, same time.